And if you want, only if you want, stop to this. Stop to retire your internal energy and destructing internal organs. How much you hear this, how much your conscious will get strong to stop with this. And don't forget, for God don't have impossible. To God don't have impossible. It's sufficient you decide, say no. And God will help you. The vice of smoking and its future consequences. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clear that smoke transform into. Let me see what the opinion spiritual masters through your explanations, Yucatan. Okay. Is the vice of smoking perhaps considered an act that offends the dignity of God? This is from book Physiology of the Soul, written by the Spirit. Spirit don't write, but through medium Ercílio Maes in Brazil, the Spirit passed this message about smoking or not. Why not make this? And it's an idea and strong to start see this of other form. Sometimes we don't can supply certain obstacles in our life because don't have arguments to mind work with this. Then is important here this. The vice of smoking and its future consequences. From Spirit Ramatis through medium Ercílio Maes in Brazil. Is the vice of smoking perhaps considered an act that offends the dignity of God? The vice of smoking does not signify any offense to the magnanimity of God, for the Creator is not affected by human follies and ignorance. The bad results of the vice of smoking are not a consequence of divine sanctions or separate corrective punishments, but rather the exclusive responsibility of the addicted man. Without a doubt, the use of tobacco is a crime that the Creator commits against itself, which is why it must suffer the harmful consequences both in a physical health and in the perispirit, due to the breaking of the natural laws of the earthly world, and also those that govern the astral world, whose effects it will have to feel after its disincarnation. Hello, Apira. Oh, thank you. Sorry, here is in English. Have another live that I saw, that I made in Portuguese. Tomorrow you can hear this. How could we better understand this answer regarding the, let me see if I finish to read all paragraphs. Without a doubt, the use of tobacco is a crime that the creature commits against itself, which is why it must suffer the harmful consequences, but in a physical health and in the perispirit, due to the breaking of the natural laws of the earthly, and also those that govern the astral world, whose effects it will have to feel after its disincarnation. How could we better understand this answer regarding the inveterate smoker, who therefore cannot abandon the vice of smoking? Naturally, they consider him a victim of his own spiritual negligence, since it's a creature that acts voluntarily against a physical integrity and also creates a bad situation for the life that awaits it beyond the earthly grave. The inveterate smoker is an unfortunate slave who abdicates his own will, yielding his instinctive command to an implacable and demanding brain as the tobacco. What is the opinion of the spiritual master on your explanation? Ramatis answered, smoking is a disease from which a large part of humanity suffers when, due to its proverbial carelessness, it always itself be enslaved by the insane worship of Lord Tobacco, which then subjugates it both in the realm of thoughts, social relations, and psychic attitudes, as it interferes even in the realm of higher inspirations. Each man dominated by this vice tries to present his personal reasons to justify his enslavement to the tyranny of tobacco, whose addiction, having developed strong roots, already commands his own psyche. Some claim they smoke to kill time or because they need hypnotic resources to calm their nerves. Others attribute to the lazy smoke of the cigarette or pipe the inspirational power for the success of good business or for encouraging literary production and arts too, etc. Currently, teachers, doctors, military personnel, lawyers, engineers, poets, philosophers, or scientists smoke. And don't have importance the title you will take in other dimension. This don't will function in not the titles in this planet. will finish. There you will be only a spirit that had a bad experience and transformed him in a slaver. Um, Currently, teachers, doctors, military, doctors, personnel, military personnel, lawyers, engineers, poets. I never would be capable to give in hand of a lawyer that smoke my case, because these people have limited perception, unfortunately. It's not clear the decisions are a mind of a smoker. Priests see this. Wrong doors smoke, workers and bosses. The vice only varies in the technique and manner of bombing the slaving herb, which is adjusted according to class, fortune, hierarchy, or social distinction. The backwoodsman and villager smoke the full-smelling straw cigarette or use grimy clay pipes. Middle-class men smoke paper cigarettes, while the more fortunate distinguish themselves by using showy gold-rimmed cigarette holders. They puff or jump cigars or use very fine pipes that hang from their salivating lips. But of course, this ostentatious and picturesque difference in the way tobacco is burned according to class or possessions is worthless. For the vice bring the same harmful consequences and execrable mental enslavement to all. Note that the inveterate smoker lives unaware of his own enslavement, for he puts his hand in his pocket, takes out his cigarette case, whether poor or luxurious, open it, takes a cigarette, puts in his lips, and light it. Obvious to all those movements that the vice itself instinctively guides. He is a living automaton, so conditioned to the vice of smoking that, generally, from the moment he takes the cigarette case out of his pocket until he lights the cigarette, he exclusively fulfills a hiding, harmful and indomitable will. Then one way to stop this is cut what you are making. Now I will get the cigarette. Prolong this act. Now I will take in my mood. Observe, don't go. Pay attention in all your aptitudes that are in automaton and start to break this automatism. Let more time to get cigarette. If you get a middle hour, amplify this to 1 hour. Other day or other week, 2 hours difference, and will take this so much great time. If you are starting to broke this automatism, is one step. Then you will get amplify the time and enter one cigarette and another. Amplify, amplify, amplify until you get one for a week. After one for 2 weeks, one for 3 weeks, one in a month. Amplify more this. One in a 2 months, one in a 3, one in a 4, until you stop totally this. If you get B without this 2 months, you can stop totally this. It's only broken step by step your automatism. Because we are a group of three things: will, the act, and memory of this is a circle. Will, act, memory. Will, act, memory. You must break the circle in his acts in first, because you don't will broke all starting in will. I think no. I think is you must focus in your broken your habits with this. Try to will make this more time without use this. Make this step by step. Don't stop to try. Broke. How a great wooden hand, sword in hand, broken a grateful mountain. And Jesus Christ said, if you say to this mountain, go out of here and go to the ocean, this mountain go. Then you can imagine this mountain transformed in sand, and this sand will to the ocean. Is this try all day broken this conditioning, this conditionment, I think is this condition. Start to break this and get your freedom. It don't have pleasure, more grace that be free from a slave conditions. Is this an addict represent in our life? The inveterate smoker is an unfortunate slave who abdicates his own will, yielding his instinctive command to an implacable and demanding brain as is tobacco. What is the opinion of the spiritual matters on your explanation? Smoking is a disease from which a large part of humanity suffers when due to its proverbial carelessness. I read this. Currently, teachers note that the inveterate smoker lives unaware of his own enslavement. For he puts his hand in pockets, out in cigarette case, whether poor or luxurious, open it, takes a cigarette, puts it in his lips and light it. Obvious to all those movements that device itself is instinctively guides. He is a living automaton, so conditioned to the vice of smoking that generally from the moment he takes the cigarette case out of his pocket until he lights the cigarette, he exclusively fulfills a hidden, harmful, and indomitable will. First step, be in conscious of all movement you make to this, and start with intention to break it, step by step. Consequently, the inveterate smokers no longer smokes. He is stubbornly smoked. He no longer commands his will, but is servilely commanded by tobacco. The subverted command in his psyche as if it were a foreign entity, control all his movements and takes over his biological automatism in order to intervene arbitrarily at their pleasure in the mind of the smoker, even when the latter is distracted by other concerns, and a complete loss of will and control of the creature, since their physical body is transformed into a living and unconscious tobacco incinerator. See this? How absurd. Through your explanations, you make it clear that smoke transforms into such an objective entity that it even seems to possess physical force. Isn't that so? Indeed, tobacco is a subverted entity that most of humanity feeds daily. It docilely serves its devouring demand, paying it homage and sacrifice through the fetid and irritating smoke, through the respiratory tract. Tobacco then becomes the brain, the commander or the master that, through various hypnotic tricks, such as cigarettes, pipes, cigars, or luxurious cigarette holders, satisfies vicious negligence and human vanity, but also acts surreptitiously and imposes its own force on the psychological mechanics of smokers. Although many people claim that they smoke only as a harmless pastime, few manage to free themselves from the smoking obsession that imperious and morbid commands their biological automatism and mental decisions. We believe that the vice of smoking is not as degrading or perverting as the vice of alcohol or narcotics, which even modify the physiognomic aspect and the harmony of human aesthetics. What do you think? Ramatis answer. We don't disagree with your considerations, but we remind you that the vice of smoking originated from a backward race, ignorant of any civilized way of life and lacking any superior credentials of the human spirit, such as the Indians of Central America, Spanish invaders encountered in the vicinity of tobacco in the province of Yucatan. Is this cigarettes are from? You know now where this started? How much bad make this to our body that is not our really, is from God. We are using, and where bad this will take in us. History tells you that Christopher Columbus ships. Christopher is the same Christopher Columbus ships upon returning from his second voyage to the new lands, carried tobacco seedlings to Spain. Later, Monsignor Nicot, then the French ambassador based in Portugal, obtained seeds of. Tobacco was grown in the gardens of the Portuguese kingdom, and he planted in his garden on the grounds of the French embassy, later taking seedlings back to his homeland. Hence, the same nicotine given to the main toxin in tobacco, which was done in memory of Monsignor Nicot. Later, taking seedlings back to his homeland, hence the name nicotine given to the main toxic in tobacco, which was done in memory of Monsignor Nicot. The French ambassador of Portugal, little by little, the habit of smoking spread throughout Europe, with tobacco taverns and the manual cigarettes making industry proliferating. However, the first symptoms of smoke poisoning soon appeared with the traditional migraines, dizziness, paleness, vomiting, and bronchial disturbances caused by the desperate struggle of the physical body to defend itself or adapt to the terrible poison that brutally penetrated the respiratory system and spread through the bloodstream. Despite the determined offensive campaign against tobacco use carried out by doctors, kings, princes, governors, and authorities in general, this practice spread, infiltrating all social strata, thus increasing commercial competitions in the sale of tobacco and imposing this detestable fashion. Thus, in the current century, when all human customs are also deteriorating more strongly, on the eve of the great spiritual selection of the end times, smoking has already managed to establish its toxic, unhygienic, and foolish empire, which originated in the innocent vice of the ignorant native who amused himself by inhaling the smoke of irritating herbs. There is no doubt that for the native, the revenge against the civilized, so proud of their moral and scientific achievements, was a great success, as they began to initiate them in the folly of also filling their lungs with fetid gases. Is or not a great revenge? In the the past, only men and women of ill repute smoked or drank openly. Today, however, almost everyone for every class smokes, for even the priests. But today, not today, this 1959, today is have prohibition to smoke in closed environments, closed ambients, etc. Have still one law for God. For the native, let me see, the revenge against the civilized, so proud of their moral and scientific achievements, was a great success as they began to imitate them in the folly of also filling their lungs with fatted gas. In the past, only men and women of ill repute smoked or drank openly. Today, however, almost everyone from every class smokes, for even the priests, who from the pulpits excommunicate human sins and vices after the religious offering light their finest cigar, while the teeny ashes fall upon the verses of the Bible that are being studied for the sermon the following day. Then, who wants to stop? I knew other day that a man that have addiction to so hard drugs for 20 years, he stopped with drugs. Today he is, how the name of this? Today he is out of list. So muscles, and without drugs. After 20 years, day by day, using that things, drugs. If a drug can stop totally after 20 years using day by day drugs, why not the cigarette, people? Is my question to you. I hope you think about it, and I desire to you a great week. Until the next.